Greetings, chess lovers, friends of the stream, and everyone else flocking in to this Tuesday night stream. The numbers, they're going crazy. You know, stream views through the roof, which is great. It's good to generate a bit of revenue. It means I can put some time into recruitment, because as we talked about at length last time, not really getting the staff in these days. You know, they come in with these big ideas. You know, they put their tickets on the Jira board. You know, they say things at the stand-up. You know, then they're going off sick. You know, sunstroke, that kind of thing. Anyway, not to worry. You know, that's not going to stop us. That doesn't matter. Just a little bit of work to do on my side here. Just there we go. Audio. The audio is fixed. So you know what we do on this stream? We jump straight in. We don't mess around. No, we don't. All right. So let's go straight in with some blindfold games. Here we go. To the sounds of Harris Heller. Stream beats. Oh, Akara Khan from Sigorin 68. Interesting. Not Chigorin, Sigorin. Alright, D4. Let's just good. Stream health. Stream health is good. Alright. Oh, just getting myself sorted there. Okay, and we're in. So we're going to trade here on D5. Okay, and then play bishop D3. Let's get this bishop in a nice place. Now they've attacked our d4 pawn, so we're going to play c3 to protect it and see what they do. Probably knight f6, that's a common move. Yeah, they want us to play knight f3 so they can play bishop g4. We're not going to do that. We're going to play bishop f4 first. And, well, probably bishop g4 is coming anyway. Then we'll play queen b3. Alright, this week's stream is sponsored by Straight Up Barry's Tea. Cheers, Barry's. Look, they also donated this lovely Kingfisher mug. Yeah. Nice. Could have given me one that's not chipped. What can you do? Alright, bishop g4. Let's put that there. Now, I'm just going to rearrange that boom arm. Okay, queen b3, and our opponent, Chigorin 68, plays queen d7, natural. Okay, so we're going to play knight f3. We don't want this. We don't want to double our kingside pawns. So knight d2 first, so then on knight f3 we're defending the knight. Now probably e6. Yep, and they're going to play bishop d6. We're going to trade dark square bishops, that's okay. Knight f3, probably bishop d6. Now not much... The battle lines are being drawn, but there's not much exciting stuff happening yet. Ooh,
Novelty.
Not seen that one before. Now then, we'll probably take back with the knight, don't we? I don't think we can do anything fancy, so let's go. Okay. Interesting. Okay, they don't want to bring this bishop out, and I kind of wonder why. I don't think we should react to this. We'll just castle. I guess they want b5. That's why they've played a6. But it feels a bit early to do this. Could have played queen b6, I guess. Didn't think of that. That was an idea. Maybe we missed a trick. I don't know. Don't know if that was a good idea. Castling made sense. Typically what we want to do is play rook e1, trade the bishops, plonk the knight on e5, play f4, and then maybe just push these kingside pawns. Try and get something going on the kingside. But let's see. We're picking up a time advantage, which is unusual for us. Cheers, Barry's. Cheers, lads. Alright, Chigorin 68. 1966. Good year. Good year. 60 years of hurt. In case you don't know, that's the you know what that was. You know what it was. You know, they think it's all over and all that. Right, B5 was played. Should we just go in with A4? We could do that. Maybe they'll play B4 and then there'll be a bit of a conversation over there. Maybe we could just go in like this. Get the bishop on E5, then just thrust up with F4. Just be like B4. Do we react to it? It feels a bit slow. I think the point is that if we trade knights, then B4, and it's still a problem because this bishop's up here, excuse me. Look, I just think it's time. Not clear. Interesting. I'll have to look at this later and try and figure out what the route was, but I guess we want to play rook e1. We do want to trade here and get f4 in, or at least that's the setup that I'm kind of aiming for. a4 seemed like a way to meet this. Minority attack. But b4 looks like it's coming anyway. Maybe we could have played a4 and that might have kind of done something over there. Alright, well, Chigorin is tanking. Well, I mean, having a think, which is fair. I wonder what they're thinking about. I mean, if you don't take this, then you've got to move your queen, I guess, or attack my queen. But that feels like it's not gonna work in any rate, because after the trade of queens, we'll take this with check, then this, and we'll just win a piece. So no attack on the queen. It's possible. So if you don't take this, you've got to move your queen, it seems. Where would you move it to? My opponent proposes a take back. Now, if I think a player's made a mouse slip, then I might do a take back. But that wasn't a mouse slip. I think they've just left their queen hanging, so sorry. I don't believe in take backs, I'm afraid, unless it's a clear mouse slip. So I'm sorry, Chigorin. Rematch. That's fair. That's as good as a take back, isn't it? All right. Now Chigorin is a man, or a person, may not be a man, on a mission. Tilting big time. Hung the queen. Now whipping out the opening moves. Going into a two knights defense, playing d3, protecting the e4 pawn. Very good move if you're a Italian player against the two knights. This is definitely the best move because it just frustrates the two knights player. Yeah, just frustrates you. You want the tactics and the open game. The knight c3. Okay, I think you've got to play d6 here. They're not going to play c3 and d4 now, so it changes things a little bit. Okay, a3, so bishop g4 is not on the menu anymore, but we can attack this bishop. Should we do that before or after we castle? Guess if we do it now, they could go here. Yeah, then we'd have b5, so probably not. I think we should do it now while we've got a chance. So that's what d6 did. It protected the e5 pawn. Right. Prior to when this pawn was back on d7, this knight was protecting e5. Now it doesn't need to, so just drop it here and get rid of this bishop. They'll probably drop back to b3, so if we get rid of it, they'll take back the a pawn and open up this rook. I had a game in a similar position, yeah, in a classical game actually on last Friday. Reached exactly this position. Opponent played bishop b3 immediately. I then castled. I think then they castled. Then I played c5, yeah. Or maybe I castled first. I think I castled first. Then they castled. Then I played knight a5. But why I shouldn't play this now? Don't know. Looks okay to me. I like it. Alright, and they did that. They did it. Now don't we get c6 and b5 for free? Which is kind of... You kind of want that here. You want some queenside expansion. Am I missing something? I'm going to go for it. I mean, what else? I'm not definitely going to play bishop d7 and have this knight just hanging around. I guess they could play b4. But that seems a bit strange. It is a pawn sacrifice. I don't think you do that. So I guess you've got to do this, right? There's no justification. You're not going back to c4. I feel like because Chigorin is thinking, I'm going to say Chigorin, not Sigorin. Chigorin is obviously a famous chess player. Now then, do we commit to b5 now? Probably, yeah. I mean, yeah. I think we do. Right, now this guy is not going anyway, so we don't need to rush. I think we should castle. Unless there's anything better. So queen c7 looks like a move that we would like to play. So we can push d5, we defend. An x-ray defense our e5 pawn. So we can push d5 at some point. Where does this bishop want to go? Probably b7? But I mean, we're definitely castling short, so there are no threats here, I don't think. So let's go. And then we need to solve the problem of this passive bishop. Now, sometimes you delay that. You go rook e8, bishop f8, and you know, just sit with the bishop here on f8 for a while. Maybe play g6 and bishop g7. You can do things like that. I feel like queen c7 is a kind of good all-round move. I like rook e8. Bishop b3 didn't really threaten anything, so let's not think about it too much. The thing about queen c7 is after d5 takes, this pawn is always going to be hanging. But that feels like it's a way off, so... maybe rook e8 instead then. Now let's play queen c7. We'll solve this problem when we come to it, probably by playing a6 first. But these kind of positions are kind of... they always revolve around the center. Especially when they've played f3, knight c3, sorry, and not gone for this knight d2, knight f1, knight g3 thing. It feels like you really want to get d5 in. Okay, they want to move this knight, I think, to do this, but that just hangs a knight. You can't be doing that. This knight's protected, remember. Okay, probably rook e8 then. What are they going to do? Castle long? They can't castle long, surely not. So I don't really understand queen d2 at the moment. So I'm just going to play rook e8. Looks like a useful move. I don't think there's any discoveries, because that's protected. Probably you don't castle long here, right? That just looks suspect. Got castle short. Castling long just feels unthinkable. Like you're going to take this bishop off, and you're going to end up with an open a file, and then we're just going to target that straight away by pushing a4, a5. Maybe the bishop d7 and rook b8 and everything just... well, the heavy piece is certainly looking at the queen side. So, probably short castles. Then what after short castle? Maybe we got to then play a6, because then you want to play d5. Maybe bishop b7 first, then a6, and then aim for d5. What do they want to do? I'm not sure really. Maybe this. Knight g4. Oh, Right, well, hang on. I mean, yeah, there's now a threat on f7, but we can just get rid of that bishop, which was on our agenda anyway. And then just push that knight back. I think it's kind of forced. We don't want to play the rook back to f8. So let's get rid of that light square bishop. Okay. Push the knight back, make a square, but then there might be a bishop takes and a queen takes. You know, these two attacks on h3, so don't know. We've got the bishop pair. This rook is good. It's on the open file. d5 takes. We're gonna get captured there. Bishop d7 actually helps on that front. It's starting to look a bit passive, but maybe we could play d5 there. Anyway, I don't really believe that after knight f3, bishop h6 is a threat. Surely that's defensible, so it doesn't feel like there's any follow-up. So we'll kick this guy back first, and then maybe bishop d7, maybe a6. Maybe a6 is a good call, then bishop b7, and then d5, and try and do it that way. Okay. I think we need that. I think we need to shore up. Right, let's see what problems white can pose us. Let's have a look. You feel like f4 is what you want to do, but the knight having gone back to f3 is preventing that. You're definitely not castling long now that this rook is on the open file. So it seems like short castle is the way to go. Can't see any other ideas really. Unless you are thinking of sacking the piece for 2 pawns. I guess the knight can come back, yeah, but just knight h7, and what do you actually do? You'd have a queen here on h6. This pawn will be gone. This dark square is covered, and I just feel like this is just not happening. You know, this kind of idea to try and chase the queen off. Or maybe even a king h8 and a rook g8. G4, g5 would be an idea there, but yeah, I just don't believe in bishop h6. No. Yeah, I just don't believe it. But you know, I'm often proved wrong. You know. Now then, so Chigorin has tanked a bit here. Either they're stuck for a plan, but that would be a bit weird because short castle is like immediate, unless you're thinking I want to keep this rook here and play g4, which is exactly what they've done. Okay. Now then, against a flank, push in the center. Is there anything in that? Because that knight will be unprotected. I don't think so. Here, takes. Could be a problem. Then there's a lot of pressure on our d5 pawn. So maybe we play bishop b7 first, but are we worried about this? Maybe we should go here. Yeah, maybe we should get out of the way of this. Maybe it's a bit of a problem. On the other hand, if we play knight h7 and they advance, we can take. We can trade everything and they'll end up with their queen on g5. And then we can do this and try to trade queens. And maybe in that position we've just got a better pawn structure with our Isolani on the h-file. Otherwise, I'm very worried about this. I don't really know what to do. Can we get away with advancing h5 against g5? And then g6. I don't know, they could kind of gambit the pawn. Seems weird. Right, so let's play knight h7. I mean, we could still go for that idea. Kind of mean this knight would be in a weird place, but it could reroute via f8 to e6, where it might land on f4. Possible. I don't think this would happen. That would be an interesting pawn sacrifice. Opening the g file. I feel like this game's going to burst into action. So if they play g5, shall we take? Oh, it feels weird to allow this open g file. Should we play h5? Allowing g6. Let's imagine that. g5, h5. Okay, the knight came back to e2. I want to play d5 here. Right, because d4 is a threat. Don't know where that knight's heading, but I like the look of this. That big center. I like the look of this. c3, I also like the look of that, because then d3 is going to be weak. Yeah, if we're trading off here and playing rook d8, or maybe like bishop e6 and then rook a d8. Or maybe bishop b7 to protect a6 and then rook a d8. Looks like a fairly decent position. It's weird. This is a weird construction. And this looks kind of menacing. So it's an interesting plan from White. They've not completed their development. Okay, they're trying to get the knight to f5. f5 makes sense. Didn't they just hang this bishop? They're going to capture. We take. Queen takes. Okay. Okay, but then we've got queen d6, which is just an annoying defensive move. I don't see any threats in that position. So let's think about this. It's important. d4, bishop h6, gh, queen takes h6, and then queen d6. Imagine that position. Are there any threats? I don't think there are any checks. I can't see any captures, apart from knight here, but that would just hang. And if the queen has to move, where does it go? I mean, if it goes to h5, then queen g6, we're forcing a queen trade there. And otherwise, I mean, I guess you've got to go all the way back to d2. Doesn't look good. Okay, I'm going to go for it. Well, they're not taking immediately. So what are they going for here? Want to bring the knight in first? Then queen d6 anyway. Knight f5. Okay, interesting. Now we can do this. I want to take this with check. Okay, fine. Can't do queen d6 anymore. bishop here, knight takes, and they go there. Okay, interesting. So we just take that off, I think. Then they're going to open the g file. Okay, so then king h8. And after this move, there's still this. I'm just not worried about this g file. Maybe just queen d6 as well first. And if rook g8, rook g1, king h8, and we're just going to play rook g8. It just looks like everything's perfectly well defended. How does this knight get into the game? We could also play bishop f8. Yeah. Guess we don't want to do that yet. Okay, so queen d6. Are there any problems? Rook g1, king h8. I don't see any. Do not see any. We're going to test the g file. I think at the very least we're just going to lose this guy. But if we get a rook on g8, threatening to go g1, if this knight moves from f3, we should be okay with that. And maybe we want queen f6 and knight g5 as well. Yep, expected. So king h8, g8 coming. This is where I realise, oh, I missed the punch, the knockout blow. Long castles. Was long castles the knockout blow? I'm going to say it wasn't. I mean, let's just own the g file. It's bishop g5 looks seriously annoying. Like knight g5 now, and you can't take back with a knight because then you have to give up an exchange. So knight g5 just looks, yeah, maybe you've got to play h4 to prevent that, because that just looks like a game stopper in a way. Played. And now I'll be thinking about h5, h4, because I don't see where the attack is coming from now. Oh, actually a5, a4. Open the a file. So let's go for it. I wonder where is the attack now? Where does it come from? How does it materialize? Because you've given up a piece for a pawn. I don't think you can follow it up with long castles and expect anything out of the game. You've got to be careful when you sack pieces. I mean, we'll have a look at the evaluation afterwards, but I mean, if white's better here, because there's concretely a way to, you know, get a good position, win back the material, or keep up the pressure, then fair enough, but I just don't see it. I guess the only thing that could happen is, you know, some smothered mate, or some mate based on the fact that, you know, my king is in the corner, and somehow the defensive pieces get in the way. But this still feels like white's a long way from entering the position, and this knight has no. I mean, what squares can it enter on? Now, the one square that it could end up on is here, and it's just miles away from this knight. That square. You know, it's 3 moves to get to that square from here. Is there even a route? Yeah, like this. That's just too slow. In that time, we're going to open the H file and just, it's going to be game over. Okay, what did that do? Don't know. Let's go. Now we can take that. There's no threat here. Or we can also just advance, because if this is made like so, we can advance, and then we can just start doing things. So do you want to take that and then knight to capture here? Probably not. So let's just advance and keep them on their toes. Now, if this capture takes place, It's an interesting question whether we should take with the rook or if we should trade here first. No, I think we should trade here first, because after this and this capture, the rook is not going to give a check. The queen cannot threaten anything, and we're threatening a skewer. Whereas if we take here first, they're going to take us with check. Goes here, rook goes there with a check. We move back. That's actually the same position. Hang on a second. Takes with the queen. Takes here. Okay, I don't think there's a brilliant queen sack. Okay, I'm going to take that. Rook will capture. I'm going to take this pawn. Probably could have done that the other way around. And this is a threat. We're just going to whip off this rook, and then we're just going to have a clean extra piece. White's got to make something happen quickly. It's looking difficult, honestly. It's looking pretty difficult. I think Chigorin 68 is going down. Oh, queen takes g5 and that threatens a mate. So you've got to do something fast. King b2, queen takes b4, sorry, it's a b4 square. Yeah, not g5. Yep, queen b4 is just too much of a threat. Wow. Yeah, okay, another piece sacrificed. Now then, if the idea is queen here, it just doesn't work, unfortunately, because we'll just pick off the rook. Yeah, unfortunately that doesn't work. Unless the queen from here can do something, which it can't, so yeah, we'll just trade rooks. And, well, 2-0. Good games, good games. Just making sure there was nothing going on there. Right, how should we do this then? Maybe we should just do this. Maybe a bit of this, maybe a bit of this, a bit of this. No, we don't. Just don't hang the pieces, that's all. Okay, so the queen is probably going to want to come down here. Okay, let's just play knight f6. Okay, attacking our bishop. We'll just try and curl up into a ball, I think, but let's just take this pawn first so we can threaten this. Now, if the queen takes this pawn, we can actually just... well, we don't even need to give up the knight. We can pin the queen to the king. Okay, well, I'm just going to sit the bishop there, so I don't see why we shouldn't. Move like this makes sense. Well, not anymore, but still. Okay, let's move the king. Interesting. Okay, well now we can go here and attack this queen at least. We want to go there. It's getting difficult. Let's attack that queen. Alright, good, okay. Happy days. Wasn't getting difficult, it was getting tense. When you've not got much time left. Okay, plenty of time now. Oof. You always fear you're going to get outplayed in those positions just because you've got no time. Okay, what should we do? How should we get there? If we go here, we actually... Oh no, this knight's protected. Okay, so it's the pawn that's attacked. I don't think we can defend it, but that's okay. We should just get rid of this. Okay. Shit. Right, so this is okay now. What do? I guess we just move this knight around for a bit. This pawn is hanging, but then so is this one. Okay. Now we can put the knight back there. This will probably advance. We'll advance, just lock everything up. Okay. Wants to get in here. Let's just prevent that. Our king can't be checked, so that's good. Okay, now Zugzwang, we should win this pawn. Okay, now we're going to get into d5 and probably win the d4 pawn. This would be a good time to resign, I would say. I think we should... I was just going to say, we could go for a knight and bishop checkmate. Alright, Chigorin wants to play. Good. Could turn into an on-stream long match. Okay, we'll go into the Caro-Kann again. Probably knight c6, c3, knight f6. And we'll see what happens in this game, because the other one was... Well, it was interesting until Chigorin 68 blundered the queen. Alright, queen, bishop g4 straight away this time. Okay, so queen b3. Oh, hang on. Oh, that was what was played before. Queen b7. Knight d2. We'll play knight f3 next. Okay, then e6. Fair enough. Okay. So knight f3, probably bishop d6 coming. Was it a6 last time? I think it was a6.
Novelty.
Alright. a6 played. Okay, so just going to castle short and just go down a similar line to last time. On b5, which was played, I thought maybe a4 was an idea. a4, b4, and then a5. No, I don't really like the look of it. Can see why I didn't do that last time. Maybe we need to do something. Let's just think. So what are the options? a4, rook ae1, or knight e5, or queen c2. Now a4, b4, maybe a5. They take this, we go there, and they're already getting like rook b8 and stuff. Yeah, so I don't like that. Let's play knight e5 again. This is why you should analyze your games, because that was probably not the best move. There's probably an improvement and an idea. But I don't know it. I don't know it. Okay, bishop e7. Interesting. And it's just allowing the bishops. This is mental. It's absolutely mental. I'm just going to play f4, f5 like straight away. Maybe should have played rook a1 first, but... feels like rook a1 was better first, but it also feels like we can start to take the initiative and threaten f5 and stuff. This could be a full stream match, this one. I'm feeling that Chigorin 68 wants to play. Don't tilt, mate. Stop the bleeding. Don't give away your hard-earned rating points to this man sat in front of a box of dog food in his home office room. Okay, so bishop e7, and then, you know, what is it Kasparov said about Karpov? He played bishop e2, and then on the next move played bishop c4, and Kasparov was like, you know, testament to the strength of character of Karpov, that he realized his bishop was misplaced and put it where it should be. Testament to the strength of character of Chigorin 68, realized the bishop belonged on d6. Good work. Might be a bit late now though. I guess has stopped me playing f5, but I'm going to play rook ae1, and now f5 is still a threat. Maybe knight g4 is an idea to whip off the bishop, at least not giving up this bishop. Honestly, I don't know. b4 should be what's on the plate. Or should we say on the menu? Haris Heller, what a legend. Or maybe this is going to be like Argentina, Egypt, you know. And Chigorin's going to take the next 3, and I'm going to be going home in tears. Okay, but now f5 is just playable, right? If the bishop captures, we take, and then yeah, okay, there are these kind of moves, but maybe we can even sack an exchange there. Knight takes. Take here, knight takes, rook takes. There's also queen d5 in some of those positions. So I think f5 just looks good. Is there anything better than f5, I guess, is the question to answer. Or to ask. Bishop f6 looks tempting. Right, that does look tempting. Then f5. I mean, that's seriously annoying. Yeah, we allow bishop h2, check, king h1, so maybe that's a reason not to play bishop h6 and f4, f5. Yeah, that looks like counterplay, but still. Well, let's just investigate. Bishop f6, gf, f5. I guess you might want to play e5 there. Don't know. This looks safer in a way. Rook takes, and then we might just be able to take here. Sack the exchange because we've got f7 check. Anyway, it looks like we can do something, so let's do it. It's also interesting that bishop takes, we take back with the rook and knight d7, we can actually play queen d5 and sack the and that's not an exchange sack, because it comes with a tempo on the a8 rook. So if you capture the rook, we take the rook with check. So this is looking interesting. Now, there's another option, which is to take with the d pawn. So we should think about that. That also looks good, but it does block the e-file. So I'd almost reject it on those grounds immediately. But trying to move away from those kinds of intuitive rejections. Probably knight d7. Probably this. Probably knight takes. Then we take on f7. That looks awful. So can you take back with the pawn? Alright, I need to calculate those 2 lines. So we either play rook takes, or we play this. Yeah, the line I don't really like so much is they just take back. Then we have an isolated pawn here, which is attacked twice, which we might have to defend. And it looks like their king is open, and he is. We can't castle, but they could play something like rook f8. We can't like land on this diagonal. Doesn't look like it. Okay, but if rook takes and they go here, we do have knight takes d5. And I think queen takes d5. We've got that wherever this knight goes. And you've got to deal with this threat on e6 somehow. I think rook takes is the move. Alright, what's it to be? Knight d7, queen d5 is such a it works with knight g4 as well. I can see why they made this move, because it looks like we're going to move the rook and then we're going to get mated. Okay, but maybe they miss queen d5. What if they castle after that? I kind of feel like this would be enough for the exchange if they castle. Takes, knight takes, rook takes, and then queen takes here. I think this might work tactically. If it doesn't, we're kind of screwed, right? The other option would be this one. Takes. Well, let's investigate that, because that might work equally well. Takes here, check. You'll play knight takes there. Okay, so what's... okay, it's going to like that. Then we've got queen d5, which threatens this rook. I think it can move. I think queen d5 is the move. Am I worried about that? You'd think I might be, but... maybe there's bishop b5 there. Anyway, there's certainly queen c5, which is what I call selfless wingman. I don't know why, but it's such a cool way of getting rid of an attack on a piece. Use it as a defender and attack an unprotected queen. So, and on castles we're going to take on e6 and sack the exchange, and I think we get so much for the exchange. Okay, knight takes. We take that, they can't take with a rook. Instead, they take with the knight. What about queen here? What about rook e6? Rook e6 looks tempting. Anyway, maybe queen c5 is the way out of all of these problems. I guess there could always be queen b8 there. We have the same issues that we had before. If we go here, takes. We're going to liquidate the pawn. Knight takes. That knight is then pinned. Could also tape out with the pawn. Got here with the queen as well. Okay. Did we get enough back for the exchange? I think we did. Do we want to play this first? I don't see that we can. Is there any other special thing we can do? G6, don't like the look of that. Okay, so let's go. Like so. Maybe we didn't get enough of the exchange here, but what did we get? 1-0. Okay, we did get 2 pawns. Oh, hang on, we can't take here. Knight takes it, we're way down. Okay, we can't do that. Of course we can't do that. We can take back with the queen, and after the trade of queens we can take here. And then we'll end up with... okay, I see. Isolated pawns don't like that. So maybe we've got to take like so. Ah, okay, then we do protect e6, so that's okay. Okay, maybe that's better, because then maybe there's a threat here. What we can't do is do queen d5 because of knight g6, I think. But hang on, then we capture. The king has to go in the corner because because if they take with the rook, then we've got this. So maybe we can do queen d5 and knight g6 takes king h8. Oh, that is almost so good. We take this, they take us. We take that, which protects this, and we're going to advance it. But unfortunately, I think they just bring the rook back. It's so close to a really, really beautiful combination. Okay, let's do this. Oh, I can't wait to have a look at that. That looked like it could have been explosive if I'd had time to calculate, but no. Never mind. All right, at least we've got the queen on a good spot and an advanced pawn. We might be able to create some complications. What do you do? Queen d6 might be a seriously annoying move if you push this pawn, like to f5 for example. Or to f6 maybe. Okay, that doesn't work. Look, we just take that. Now can't we take this? You'll take my queen. Okay, this is pinned though. Look, there's this. Right. And then we win this next. The king has to go here. And we can take that with check. Queen takes, we take this. I didn't see that line, but I just didn't think this would be played. I'm not sure why, but I didn't see this refutation. So this king h8 doesn't work. King takes h7 is probably what's going to be played, and then we're just pawns up. Yeah. Is there anything better? We could go here. No, can't go there. Okay, did we miss something? Like a check. We're kind of lucky it's not a back rank mate, but it isn't a back rank mate, so. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 3, but we are going to lose pawns. So do we go here and try and defend? And just have 2 extra pawns, or do we advance and accept that we're going to lose this pawn? I think we go and defend, and we just say we're going to try and win this rook ending. Right. Okay, yeah, you're going to win this, but we're going to create a passed pawn very quickly. How are we going to do that? If we go here, they'll take that. I'm going to go here to give my king a flight square. And after this is captured, play b3. Okay, he's not going for that, so do that first, so we can play b3 and c4. Just trying to get the rook active somehow. Don't know why we've done it that way. Might be that we're just going to lose our extra pawns. Okay, that worked out well. That worked out in our favour, I think. So now we can go here. Okay, 2 extra pawns in this rook ending. Now I'm hoping that if they have to use their rook to win this pawn, and we can defend it with our rook, like so, the king and pawn ending is going to be lost for them. So they have to kind of, yeah, they can't do it. Our rook is just going to, right, great stuff. So now we just bring our king in. What we don't want to do is lose this pawn. As king's going to come in, but we're just going to chill. And the king can't approach us because there's like a wall. You know, the pawn defending b5, and the rook's going to defend a5. Okay, good. So I guess we can start advancing this pawn. Right? Eventually force it off. Okay. Just keep doing this. Just keep going. Keep it going. That's what they say to you while you're out running. Keep it going. Right. Let's just keep doing this. Eventually they'll have to do something about this. Now if they advance, it could be an opportunity to do that. Well, they can't advance. Okay, they've gone there. Okay. Gonna force the king backwards, just so I've got some time. I'm gonna advance, hitting the king. I know I've got 2 pawns on pre. Okay. But now this comes with a check. Why didn't they go in there to h4? It was just losing. I mean, it was drawing, I'm sure. Okay, what should we do now? Yeah, I don't see a way through, to be honest. Okay, now we should at least... It's just going to be a draw now, isn't it? Is that 3-4 repetition already? Okay. Let's try moving the king. If they go here, well, then we've got h4. Okay, so it's going in here now. Alright, so now let's get rid of that so we can take this, and at least that threatens a mate. Well, not a mate, but we should be okay with 2 connected passes here. Oh shit, I fucked it. I've absolutely fucked it. Oh no, I haven't! Haha! Cool, we take on g6 and they can't take this. Okay, right, now we're gonna... Now we're gonna advance. Okay, now they take this, we go there, they take this, and king takes, and we might have a winning position there. Okay, but now... Oh, right, I see. Now we've got to approach this rook. Whoa. Oh, I defended my pawn. I didn't see that, you know. Did not see that. They've got to give a check. Alright, now they've got to keep this defended, probably like this, but then we're going to go here. Probably they'll go here. Oof, do we have any chance of winning? So king f6, we can actually play this. Oh no, they give us a check. We move back. Yeah, okay, then I'll take this pawn. So we don't want to do that. I feel like, yeah, maybe going passive with the rook was not the way. We need to analyze this game after and see what went wrong in this rook ending. Now they just give us a check and... Okay, maybe we move in like this actually. We're just going to keep getting checked forever. We could approach the rook. If we go here, we'll get checked here, so let's not do that. Don't really expect this to be a draw. most exciting, is it? Okay, what can we do? We can bring the king to attack their rook, at least. We can have a go at that. Our king's going to get cut off if they go here, for example. But then we can actually approach the rook. And we're threatening this pawn now. Okay, let's... Oh, goodness. Don't go there. Now we're going to try and move this king. Get behind the pawn. Given that they'll have to step back. Maybe this is... Yeah, okay. Now maybe there's this, because I can advance. I guess if they take this, I'm through to advancing. I'll take that. It's risky, but I'll give it a bash. If they take, I can advance. May have been something to do earlier when my king was in a better position. This is how you lose these endgames, isn't it? Trying to push too hard. Okay. Oh shit. Fucking rook takes, pawn, rook takes, king takes, boom. Oh, I've just lost. I've literally just lost this ending. I don't believe it. That's ridiculous. You just go here. I mean, you just go there. Just king h3, go here. And you advance. Don't go there, you can't advance. By process of elimination, you have to find that move. Yeah. Well done. Alright, that was just ridiculous and thoroughly stupid. But let's see whether this exchange attack was any good. So you see there, yeah, so the rook ending looks drawn for quite some time. Wow, is it actually drawn? This is fun. And the exchange sack isn't coming up as like we were losing. Oh, yes we were. Interesting. Okay, so let's have a quick look. So it says here we had a big advantage. And the move is d takes e5. Prefers d takes e5. I mean, that's just mad, but fair enough. Oh, the knight has not got many squares. Knight has to go to e4 and then we trade it off. Right, now this makes sense. And you actually want a4 there. Yeah, okay, that kind of makes sense now that the position is open. Alright, so that's one thing that we missed. A4 was the move. Bishop d6, A4 again, so we kept missing A4. Bishop f6 was the way to go. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so they take, then f5, queen d5, then queen d5, missed that. Sorry, the line missed it in this one. Okay, that's fair, it's pretty annoying. Okay, but that's not what happened. We went this way. And here black's better. Queen d5 was a good move. Castles. This was bad apparently. What do you have to do here? You have to play queen c5. Okay, but then I thought queen b8. And then f e6. What's the difference? Oh, knight takes e5. Ah, there's bishop e4. Okay, rook a7. Okay, the knight. Then we take the knight back. I'm not sure I follow. Okay, maybe it's the same thing in that position. But what was wrong with what we did? Played here. Knight takes e5. Okay. Queen b6. Oh, look, completely missed that. And then take back with the queen. Queen b6 check. Okay. Opponent missed that. Big swing. Okay. And then how did we mess up this rook ending? Let's have a look. Alright, king f2. Rook here. King e3. Guy takes this, and then you just play rook f2. Okay. Okay, that's not too difficult to see. That's the lesson there. Okay, there's a couple of wins over here that we missed. So what was that? King e1 is winning, and so is king e2. And what's the idea? So I guess we have to take this king d2, so you stop the rook having a way back to defend. Rook h2 check, king d3 I'm guessing. Yeah, okay, but what if they just go to the back rank? Rook b4. Alright, place a rook behind the pawn. Okay, instructive. Bring the king in. Okay, and then this was just horrendous, like, wow. Gotta play h6. I just gave the pawn up, and this is just going to a completely lost pawn ending. Alright. Not the best. Let's go. Let's go in for another one. While Lee chess loads. Well done. That was 2-1. Should have had that third game. Hey, worked very hard for that and then fucked up the rook ending. Alright, knight f3, knight c6. We're going to be in a Scotch. Saragard. Alright, let's go knight f6. See whether they trade. Yes, they do. And play e5. Queen e7. Or are they going to the knight c3? Yeah, queen e5, queen e7, probably queen e2. Alright. Knight d5 now then. Because the pin was broken. Probably c4. h4. Queen e6. Yeah. Chess mood student, this guy. Snazzy move. Alright, so here we could play bishop b4 check. We could play knight b6. We could play bishop a6. I don't know this line. I just know that queen e6 is probably a good move. I'm going to play bishop a6 because it looks... Oh, shit. Just hold the piece. Oh, it's resigns. Okay. I'm on tilt. After that rook ending. It's clear. Alright. Let's try and play some good chess. b5, a6. Mechitari. 1952. So it's 2-all. 2-all against the YouTube. Ooh, rook e1. Interesting. That deserves this this sound effect. Where are you?
Inaccuracy.
Alright, knight c5. Black should do okay here. I think white lost all their advantage. Guess when it takes like so. And they take this, we go here. Oh, they're having a think. I think you can play d4 first as well if you want. Bishop e7, then d4. We're going to go knight e6. There are those decisions in that rook ending that like really make the difference. Like having the intuition to be like, nah, don't do passive defense. That's, you know, with the rook. Bring the king. Give up a pawn to bring the king into the center. That really made a difference because that would have been probably... Yeah, it should have been a win, this level. Can you just take d4 here? Queen f2, mate. Okay, not seen that one before, but it's a good try. Good try, isn't it? Let's just castle then. Let's castle. Is there a world? That is a mate, isn't it? Yeah, it is. There's also, you could play knight d5, bishop takes, and then there's a mate. Yeah, okay, so let's just castle. Okay. And then I guess you want to play c3. His queen looks a bit odd on f3, but maybe it's fine. Against c3, we can play c5. I guess not, then d5. Sorry, but what the hell is that? I do not understand this move. Okay, what's Mechitari thinking? Other than, like, fuck. I fucked it. Take on c6. I don't see it. Queen takes. Alright. You got 2 pawns back. This knight, this pawn is hanging. Well, it's not. I mean, the rook's attacked, but, you know, yeah, rook b8 or bishop e7. No, I don't see it. Let's see. Mouse slip? Rook b8 to b6 looks cracking. Also bishop b7, so rook b8. This you're just going to take. So that capture doesn't work. I don't see any other captures or checks or threats. So off we go. So bishop b7, rook, maybe rook b6 first, and then bishop b7. Probably c3 has to be played. Queen's off would be fine. Queen d6. I like rook b6. Bishop b7, queen d5. Okay. Alright, so bishop b7, and then we can just win this pawn. I don't think you're going to sack your queen for a check. This just looks rough, to be honest. This looks rough. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry you have to say this. This is tragic. This is tragic. Like, this deserves to be in a Penguin classic. It's that tragic. What targets are there in the black position? And everything's defended. Apart from this rook on b8. Bishop b7. We'll attack the queen. The queen can't really move with any threat. And then we'll just play queen takes d5, and that will either force a queen trade or some ugly move like f3. And then there's a bishop c5 check. Anyway, you're also a piece down here. Well, actually, not quite. You're a pawn down. Still, it just looks tragic. Can you even defend this pawn? Queen c4, I mean not defend it, I mean prevent queen d5 just being a straight up mate threat that you have to deal with without trading queens to try and keep queens on. Can you keep queens on is a question I'm trying to answer. How do you attempt that? You can't go queen c4, that forces a queen trade, right? Well, maybe you could play queen f1 there, actually, to defend the g2 battery. But really, don't know to be honest. That was a terrible loss in that rook ending, right? Queen c3, and then the worst game afterwards, queen e6. Right, I think we just take that with the queen. Why not? Threatens mate, it's always a good thing. Boom, queen queen g2. Where is it?
Battery.
And how do you defend that? Probably queen g3. You don't want to play f3. That meets with quite a funny fate, actually. Bishop c5. And if you go king... Ah, okay, bishop e3. I think that has to go down with... you know, as a...
Double question mark.
Unlucky. Good game. I mean, I say good game. It wasn't. It was not a good game. I mean, good game in the sort of pleasant, polite English way of acknowledging that something occurred. But it was not by any stretch of the imagination or by any twisting of words a good game. It was tragic. Anyway, this is a new story. This is... What is it? Alaska Pelican? Now you can play knight c4 here after bishop e7, I think. Try and make things a bit more interesting. And after b5, we get this knight to e3, and then we got two pieces looking at the d5 square. Or two knights. Which means you can probably land one there and keep it without having to knock this f6 knight off and trade your bishop pair, which you normally have to. So perhaps this might have some merit. So it's a nice kick drum in this tune, isn't it? Sounds like it was recorded in a dingy practice room. Right, b5. Guess we go knight e3. If b4 will jump in, so they're not going to do that. This is attacked, so b4, if we're going like this, well, we have to, yeah, could be a problem. So, how do we handle that? Do we jump in now? Why does that allow us to sack this? I'm not sure it does. b5, I know it looks stupid. Well, it does, yeah. Bishop b5 takes, we take this, and then there appears to be some difficulties there, but I don't know. We can't just go sacking pieces like that. a3 to try and prevent b4. They'll just play a5, I guess. No, they won't, because that's hanging. a3 just seems slow and weak. But yeah, but the question is what to do. Can we go here? Maybe that's what we should do, right? And just trade off the knights and then play knight d5. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. Right strategy or not? I don't know. We'll have to check this out. I think that's the way to go. Then the idea was to meet b4 with either knight takes f6 or knight takes e7. Probably knight takes f6. We can still do that and then drop this knight into d5. Okay, we don't have to. Maybe just bishop e2 and castles now. Could play a4, then b4. Probably knight f6. I think we're going to play bishop e2, honestly, and just try to develop. And I feel the appeal of a4. But look, it just feels wrong at the moment. Wrong. Hey, maybe bishop e3 was the move, actually, to get to b6. Yeah, I should have considered bishop e3 to b6. Okay, but that cloud has passed. That cloud has passed. Let's see what Nanga Parbat mountain symbol has to offer. What would the strategies be? Really, in this opening, you want to play f5, but you don't usually have a knight here. It usually gets traded. But the inclusion of an early bishop e7 allowed us to kind of sidestep that line. So you may even go ahead and trade and play bishop g5 so that you can play f5. You know, I mean, you could play f5 immediately, but then we are going to take this dark square bishop off, and we've still got one. Okay. The usual plan of f5 and having the bishop pair, and just saying, yeah, my backwards d6 pawn and this hole on d5 are actually not such a big problem. It seems a bit more difficult in this position because we've still got this dark square bishop. Okay. I'd be tempted by bishop e3 now, because it does threaten to win a pawn. The knight can't do anything, I don't think. It can take the e2 bishop. Yeah, that's true. It's kind of annoying. If you do take the e2 bishop and we play bishop b6... Queen d7. Knight takes, queen takes. Knight comes back in. No. It's knight in f6. I don't think we can move this bishop to d3 now. It seems too late. But maybe we can. I don't think we can. I think we've got to play bishop e3. We've got to accept that we've lost the bishop pair. We really just missed knight coming into d4. But maybe it's a bit slow. Now then, if we go bishop b6, there's knight c3, so I don't think we can do it straight away. So I think we should play queen e2. Now bishop b6 threat. Okay. And it's still a threat. Queen has to maintain contact with the knight, so I think queen d7 is the only move. What about knight b6 as well? This looks awkward, so I'm going to play it. I'm going to put it on the board, I think. Is there anything better? Bishop e7. Knight e7, sorry. The capture here is kind of a nuisance. Alright. If nothing else, we can play knight c7 followed by knight takes e6. We've covered e5, e4. This little fork. Probably rook b8. Take here. Queen takes. I think there's bishops. It's rook c7 actually. Bishop c7, excuse me. We could also take this off. Queen takes. I feel like getting rid of the bishop is the way forward. It's difficult. Difficult to know what to do here. Interesting. I guess this is a threat, right? So we need to respond to that. Or actually even knight takes. Knight takes. This is probably more of a threat. It's going to force us to stay with the pawn, and we really don't want that. Well, no, it's not. But okay, we trade. It's going to give them the you know, the d pawn is going to be unleashed. The pawn on d5 looks weak there, so I feel like that's the way to go. And if this bishop, should this bishop get attacked, we drop it back this way. We could equally well just take this. Maybe this just gives them too much. I have to remove like even rook c8. Maybe we just have to allow this. b4 looks pretty annoying. Okay, in some... Actually, we can take this pawn. Didn't think about that. Can we do that? I guess we can't, right? Because... Yeah, we can't do that. But we could go here. Maybe that's the thing to do. Okay. Let's try and maintain this knight here. After rook b8, we've either got bishop a5 or we've got knight takes e6. Don't know. Not sure. Okay, rook b8 played. I feel like this is the guy. b4. I mean, I can just drop in here, right? This guy is protected, so let's go. This is threatened. Knight e6 might come. We want a castle and play f4. Really? We're probably worse. Are we worse? I don't know. Guess this bishop's passive. You know, this is a backwards pawn. This is a weak square. But somehow black is fully developed. They've got this minority attack on tap. This bishop's well placed. Guess they've not got f5. They've not organised f5 yet. Is d5 playable there? Maybe that could be the way. You kind of feel like, you know, we can't take this pawn. We're just gonna, we can't have these pieces on the a file. Just gonna get skewered. Okay, didn't see that one coming. Not alert. Okay, so choice between queen d2 and queen e3. Queen d2 does protect f4, so does queen e3. I think we need to go queen e3 because we need to keep an eye on the e4 pawn. Are we worried about knight g4? It's a weird move, queen a7 there. It's so weird. Okay, but there are probably other moves. Alright, very low on time. Nanga Parbat is equally graded. Same rating. But it looks difficult for me here. I think I've got outplayed. I can't castle short. Am I going to have to castle long? Well, maybe that's not the end of the world. Okay, so come in here to attack this rook. What if we go here? It's defended. Put more pressure on it. That looks pretty dismal for us. We also just pin our knight to our queen, so probably not workable. Maybe we could drop back to... We can take this pawn rook here. And then go queen b6. Like, that's just mental. Because then there's no rook b8. Queen d8. Sorry, bishop d8. Is that completely stupid? I think the answer is yes. It's just not playable. Right, and if they go here, can we do something like knight c5? Is there any? No, there's no mileage in that. Desperately trying to make that work. Doesn't work. Okay, so we have to drop back here and allow this. Drop this pawn. And castle. Or go here. Oh, I've just choked. I have choked. Okay. Oh, it doesn't look like there's anything for it. Maybe it matters which knight to move, maybe it doesn't, I don't know. This game was a utter disaster. Gonna have to understand what went wrong there. Okay, so c2 is hanging. We sort of knew that. Well, and now the pawn structure is terrible. Okay. The one thing we have got going is we have this move. And it may trap the rook. So after b4 we got this. Oh, he has queen a4. That's so annoying. b4, queen d3, queen a4. We can't. Oh, we can't play that. Oh, we can, because then we take the rook. They take us, we take their queen. Interesting. Now they might not. They might see that this is playable, and that wins this, and then not calculate that queen c3 looks. It blocks any check as well, which would be the idea in such a position where your queen is hanging. And so is the opponent's. Okay, not so clear then. Alright, that was the way. Okay. Again, this looks totally foolish, but it's actually defended. And we attack this rook. I'm going to castle next. So just trying to cause problems. e7 is hanging, so we can't take that. We'll get mated. We do attack this rook, and we could take that next because it's a check. So probably rook c8 will be played. But then we'll castle, and the e7 bishop will need to be solved, and a6 is hanging. Still, probably black is better. I guess we prevented b4 from being a thing. Didn't see that at all. Oh, fuck. Okay, we've got no choice. We've got to go here. But now there's no mate. We just get mated. Oh, no, we don't get mated. Okay, we don't get mated. I feel like I'm just about to lose here. I guess queen f4 might be played. Queen c4, okay. Okay, going to a little hole. e7 is hanging. All the major pieces are covered, but then we can take on a6. I mean, this is just horrendous. I mean, what are we even doing? Now there's no b4, which is good. Okay, that was played. Okay, a4. Hang on, this rook is hanging again. And it's got no squares still. Okay, now it's attacked, so what do you do with it? That's what you do, apparently. Okay, I'm going to go a4 just to try and get this rook into the game. Could have gone like... okay. How about a bit of that? need to defend f2, I'm guessing. Let's try and do that like this. Then play rook h3, rook f3. Playing on the increment. Yeah, rook h3, rook f3 is what we want. Pawn down, king in a bit of a mess, but passive bishop for our opponent. Okay, probably going to do this so we don't get chance to. Ooh, okay, we got chance for that. Okay, now this guy might be a little bit. Oh, whoa, mate, we've got a mate. You know, sometimes the chess gods are good to you, aren't they? They are sometimes good to you. Fantastic. Well, I'll just let my time run out a little bit and just enjoy this. Alright, good game. Not sure how we got anything out of that, to be honest, because we were toasted. Absolutely toasted. But let's have a look. Let's have a little look. 35 moves. Okay, so we were in this Sicilian Lascar Pelican thing. So I think the critical point was like here. Okay, we're all good here. I think the position that I want to take a look at is here. Knight c4. Whoa. What's going on? What are you doing? Thanks VS Code for just launching in the background. Okay, I'm back. So knight c4 is a good move here, and you can try to use it to get out of the normal lines. Well, let's see how it went. b5, knight e3, knight f6. Right, okay, in here we could have played bishop d3, but we didn't move in here. They castled. Knight d4, didn't like that move. Bishop e3, and already, okay, we lost our advantage. Bishop e6, and this is probably where we went wrong, okay, because this looks like aggressive, but unfortunately, yeah, now we're awful. We should have liquidated this knight and accepted that we had we're behind in development. Instead, all this stuff happened, and we're in terrible trouble. Let's just have a quick look down here. Okay, this is funny. There was a win here. Wow. Okay, hang on. Oh, no. There was a win here. So it's white's move. There's a win. What's the win? The rook is just hanging. I mean, come on. Oof. Poor. Okay. Now black's winning. Okay. Black had a win here. What was it? Black had a win here. Is it queen c5? Queen c5 is it? There are other moves that win. Yeah, queen c5. Okay, because the white queen can no longer, defend f2, and you defend your rook here as well. So, okay, now again, queen takes c8 was on the board, missed it. Of course, wasn't looking for it. Okay, defends the rook. Okay, we did kind of well to just wriggle out here. Okay, you've got to play queen g6, I guess, because you need to defend f7, but our opponent missed it, and we got lucky with a mate in 2. Okay, not bad. Let's press on. This is where we need to use the Pro splash screen. Thanks, media team. Alright, here we go. So, we're in an e4, e5. Knight f3, knight c6. What's it going to be? Spanish? Italian? Italian. How are the Italians doing in the World Cup? d3. It's got to be bishop e7. Bishop c5 is the more active move. I like bishop e7 because people seem to be well prepared for bishop c5. And if they do the most natural thing, there's actually a pretty good way to cause complications. And that might happen. We'll see. The castle to play c3. We can play d5. Now, their usual idea is to push the rook. Hey, okay, we can play d5. We'll see if it happens. They think, okay, we'll take on d5, and then we'll play rook e1, because this pawn is kind of weak. The e5 pawn is hard to protect for black. And the reason is that you'd like to play the natural bishop d6, but unfortunately that interferes with your queen's defense of your knight, so you can't do that. So rook e1, and then we have like a tactical defense of the pawn. We pin the knight, and then they think, okay, we can drive this bishop away and take the pawn. They can. Anyway, our opponent's decided not to do any of that, and instead play bishop b5, which is interesting. Knight isn't pinned. I guess they're just going to remove it and then take this. So, pretty clear. So what the threat is pretty obvious. Do we play f6 to defend? We can now play bishop d6, which wasn't possible before, to defend. We could play bishop g5, g4 to pin the knight. Are we worried about doubling these pawns? Probably not. Probably not. I don't like f6. That's a concession. Bishop d6 I don't mind. Don't mind that move. Bishop g4 is usually a mistake, or like inaccurate, because you can't follow it up with knight d4 when the opponent's pawn's on c3. So I'm minded to just play bishop d6. I mean, it does interfere with our queen's pressure on the d file. Yeah, but sure, look, our opponent's allowed it, so let's do it. Kind of solves our problems a little bit. We might try and push if the situation allows. All right, BC is a pre-move. Okay. Now, you know, we gained something. I mean, we lost something, right? A nice, cozy queenside pawn structure. And we gained something we don't really want, which is these doubled C pawns. But we also gained an open B file and the bishop pair. Can't moan at the bishop pair. I mean, two bishops are a beautiful thing. Yeah, they really are. It's interesting. If they take this, we could advance. Okay, I was thinking there might be some special, some tricks, some trickery, but there probably isn't. Knight b4 will get hit. Don't really see a way through. It's annoying that this pawn is on the square. If it wasn't, we could take the d3 pawn after queen takes it at bishop h2, whipping off the queen. Which is why I thought we could play this move first, but it's a pawn sack. It's probably not. Maybe just knight f6. Maybe knight e7, because we do want to play f5. Okay, maybe so that they're the options, I guess. These two. I think you play knight e7. Play knight f6, they're gonna hit us with this. It's gonna be annoying forever. So knight e7. Okay, there is c5 to get this guy, but that leaves white with this isolated d pawn. Okay, I quite like f5 now, you know. Maybe queen e8 after that. Yeah, let's go f5. Maybe e4 after that. Okay, we've got a position. We've got a position that's dynamic a little bit. It's got a bit of imbalance. You know, it's not dry. It's not dry like this Kingfisher mug here, which is soon to be refilled with the stream sponsor, Barry's Tea. All right, queen e8 looks like, you know, like what? But you unpin and you take over the light squares, and your opponent hasn't got a light square bishop. This is capturable. You wouldn't want to take back with your bishop because then your pawn's hanging, but you could just take back with your queen. Still think that this might be an idea. So do we want to do something about that by playing e4 straight away? Maybe you do. I guess the knight comes to d4. These are the kind of positions that good attacking players understand. And then you've got me. I think queen e8. Queen e8 moving to f7. If they're gonna trade, fair play. Then we'll have 2 unopposed bishops. Seems okay. c5, knight takes here is possible, I guess. Okay, but then there might be some moves like knight d5, for example, hitting this guy. Probably rook e1. I don't know. Let's not go down that line. I just didn't like. I didn't like this e4. Maybe. Nah. We'll have a look afterwards. Maybe e4 was decent. Okay, but will our opponent play c5? Give themselves an isolated d pawn? No. Ah, right. They threaten it with more menace. Now then, we could play bishop e6 after c5. We can take their queen, or we can just get off this diagonal forever. I don't think we need to be that sort of prophylactic. I think we can just play bishop e6. c5 is obviously not possible. Queen b7 threatening to take this? I don't think so, somehow. It's a move. And, you know, we can make this move happily because the bishop stands on g5, so the knight can occupy the same square and attack our bishop. Okay, so the rook is going to come in, or the knight's going to take. So what do we do about that? Probably rook b8 is an idea. We can go knight g6 and not overprotect, but just defend. But maybe rook b8 first. What's likely going to happen to this queen? Maybe then queen c3. Yeah, okay. Oh no, but then there's bishop b4. Okay, so queen probably has to sit in a light square. Alright, rook b8, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough info. Like queen c3 looks tempting, but there's bishop b4. So you probably play queen c2. I don't think you go queen a4. It just looks like the wrong idea to try and take this pawn. And then we'll go knight g6. So if queen a4, knight g6, queen takes a2, do we have a threat there? a7 rather. Oof. Well, there you have it.
Questionable.
You know what? I think bishop b4 is coming.
Skewer.
Skewering the queen to the rook. Now then, is there some exchange sack? Wait, does the queen... Oh, shit, hang on. No, it works. They take this. We take that. They go here. Check. We move, and then they take... And then they take our bishop. Okay, the skewer does not work. That's a clever move. Good job we saw that. Right. Oh, fuck. Now, well, we're probably losing this pawn. Okay, but here's the trick. So we play knight g6, and if they play knight e5, then bishop b4 does work. Don't think we can play it there. We need to just be careful. What about knight g6? Queen takes bishop check. Queen takes, rook takes. We just lost a piece. But I don't think there's a but. I don't think there's anything at the end of the line. Okay, e5. Ah, hang on. If e4... might be a bit different, because then we can play b4. Bishop b4. Alright, so these are the things we need to think about. Do we play knight g6? Do we play e4? Alright, play e4, you probably got to move the knight. But maybe you don't, because the pawn is kind of pinned to my e6 bishop, so... But that's not the real threat. The real threat's bishop b4. Okay, I don't like it because we open up this square and stuff, so... I think we should play knight g6, and it does tactically defend this pawn, I think, because then bishop b4. Don't see a cracking move there. Okay, so let's do it. is a positive move. Positive. Alright, let's see what's going on. Probably knight takes bishop b4. Okay, bishop c5 played. Okay. Yes, makes sense. Okay, maybe now we need to try e4. If they take our bishop, we're going to take this. If they take this, we might be in trouble. Don't like the look of it, honestly. Okay, it looks like we just lost this pawn. Which is bad. Really bad. Okay, so if we do go here, they take us. We're going to take them. They're going to take this. We'd have to go here. We're probably going to win that back. It looks like, I mean, we could lose 2 pawns though. Okay, but if we go here, there'll be a trade, knight takes. Knight takes, queen takes, rook. The bishop's hanging, unfortunately. Rook f6. But look, I don't think we've got any choice. The other line just looked really bad, so let's go for it. The other line did look really, really bad. Okay, that was poor. Okay, we could play knight e7 rather than queen e7. After knight takes here, we'd at least get knight d5 in. But you could also play rook takes or queen takes. Oh, queen takes is disastrous. Okay, queen takes e7. Ah, c5 was such an obvious push as well. I can't believe we missed it. Okay. Okay, on knight takes, maybe we could actually do this. Queen takes, yeah, so we probably don't want to do that, but what can we do here? Okay, I think I'm going to go for this. Temporarily, use the fact that the knight is temporarily pinned. Oh, it's not pinned. Oh, we just lost this. Game over. Or is it by some miracle we have queen g5? Knight e7. That was a poor game. Well done, JCarl28. Oh, that was really poor. Yeah, it's a whole piece. Okay, well, we can carry on. You never know. We've got f4, f3. We're going to play knight d2 and knight f3, and that's going to be that. Oh, but at least then we could play rook f6, rook g6. And we'd be susceptible to a back rank mate. Okay, guess we're going to go here. At least then we cover the back rank, 8 square. Rook g6, we're going to take on h3. This was a calamity. Calamity. Absolute calamity. Actually, rook g6 threatens to take the knight as well. So probably king h2. But yeah. This is resigns. For sure. Okay, there's a clever way to prevent this, because then that's going to be a mate. But what we can do is come here first, and then this is no longer a mate. And actually on this, you probably lose your queen. So still some tricks, but I mean nothing that's going to land. Is g4 annoying here because we can't capture? Luckily we can take on h3, so okay, now king h7. I'd be tempted by f4 somehow. Really know why. I'll have that knight back then. Happy days. Okay, well, we're back in the game. Got quite a good position, actually. Okay, we're attacking the d3. Okay, there's only one move, which is this one. Now, with this queen being on h2, maybe we can do something. Maybe, just maybe. f4, queen f5, maybe? f4 to f3 might be a threat. Might be an idea. Okay, so they want to come back here. That doesn't work. We win a pawn. So let's play f4. So rook e8, there's rook g2 check. King takes, then rook takes e1. And if they play rook takes e1, we take the queen. Then they'd have a move. They could take the d5 pawn. Okay, but then it might be interesting because we'd have this move. They come forward. So they've gone for it. Yeah, d5 is hanging at the end of the line. Well done to them. I don't think they saw this move, but luckily for them, they win the pawn. Oh, they missed it. Ah, hang on. This looks... because we get this in now. Oh, this might be... Should we do that first? I think we should. Because now everything's defended, right? After we trade here, which is forced at some point. If this is a mate. Oh, we may have escaped. May have escaped one here. Alright. And now after this trade, we do threaten a mate. So the ball might be in our court here. Queen d7 is an annoying move to face. How do you defend against it? How do you defend? You can't go here, it's mate. Oh, this is just... How unfortunate is that? It just fell apart. There's no defense. Okay. Queen 8 h1. Queen e2. Okay, that's another way. Okay, that's another way. Okay. Okay, now we need to do something fast, because actually after this here we'll need to, well, we could just push and then get rid of the background mates ideas. Okay, happy days. Right, so let's do that. We could do this, but well, we can't get back rank mated, that's the thing. Now, hopefully we can bring our queen back onto the light square diagonal. Yes, we gambited this pawn, but surely, like, you're just gonna get mated. I didn't see that one. Okay. They're gonna go here and try and push this pawn. Then we'll... Oh, maybe we won't mate them now, because we can't get to the f2. Okay, but I don't think they can push. We've got this, here, this, here, this, here. We're going to take this. Okay, so I don't think they can push. So what do they do then? Blocked off their own queen's defense. We're going to pick up the f2 pawn with check. It's queen out before queens, but we'll get mated. Okay, we got this. Oh, we got this. I don't think we can do that. We want this. Surely. Okay, if they go there, there are, I think it's a perpet. Can we perpetuate that? Or do we need to go here? Then there's this. They go there, they go there. Oof. Oh, we're like this and we're in trouble. We need to stay on the C file so that we can take this pawn if they interpose with the check. Actually, you know what? We might be able to push, because when they go, we can go, and then we can make a queen. Then there'll be a... Oh, we can do that. We can fucking do that. Now it comes with a check. Oh, in fact, we can make a queen with check. Ah, they end up in the corner. Queen. Oh, this is just utterly insane. There are going to be 4 queens on the board. I've got 12 seconds. What the fuck's going on in this game? This is insane. I can't work it out to a mate. Oh, that was not the right move. I don't believe that was the right move. This must be a strong move. So there's no blockage. I've got 2 queens. I got 2 queens. If you go back here, we're going to give you a check. Actually, a check here is probably worse. Which is worse? I think a check here is worse. Yeah, it was mate. Wow, that game was insane. I shouldn't have won that game. I should have been toasted in that game. how did I manage to get back into it? But let's see what went wrong, because it was a horrendous game for me. Queen takes a7. Ah, yeah, okay. Oof. So, all right. So we were doing well here. So the opening worked, and what happened? Here we misplayed it. What did I do? F5 maybe? Yeah, okay, it was the wrong idea. Yeah, fair enough. The right way apparently was C5. I mean, you know what? You know, that kind of rings a bell from a lot of positions in these structures. C5, so you can play, you know, a bishop b7, or even a rook b8, rook b6, then the 6th rank is open, and then bishop b7. Looks weird because you say, well, you know, I'm going to put this pawn on c5 when it blocks my bishop in, you know, my lovely dark square bishop. But apparently it's okay for the aforementioned reasons. Okay, so we kind of blundered along here. We had options. Probably the same move was playable many times. And then we got here where we lost the pawn. Here, yeah, well, it was kind of good that we didn't play bishop b4, which was, yeah, obviously a really nice combination. Not too difficult to see, but good job we missed that. So knight g6. Okay, there's a better move. Actually, this is kind of interesting with the... Okay, sorry, there's a much better move than knight g6 somewhere. e4, okay. Yeah, fair enough. Why didn't I like that? I didn't like this idea. Okay, then we're unraveling with knight g6. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, thinking about it now, I mean, it leaves this threat, bishop b5, bishop b4, sorry. Anyway, the move we played just allowed c5, and we're in trouble. Knight g6, and here, yeah, this is a bad move. Here it's still playable, apparently, not so bad. Knight f4, didn't see that at all. Knight f4, I guess the idea to go queen g5 afterwards, and you defend your bishop. If you try and push you back, you can play knight h3 check. King h2. Okay, and just f4, and apparently opening things up. It's good for black, although that looks... Somehow just the pressure here looks too much, but no way to exploit it. Alright, we played this move, which was terrible, and yeah, just lost a piece. And then somehow our opponent allowed us to take their knight for free. And the funny thing is they're still winning. Because g4? Queen f4. Wow. Computer says still +4, which is immense. f4. Right, okay, and we got a pawn back. How is white still winning? Okay. White was still winning because here they can play King h1. I mean, who plays King h1? King g1, King f1. Okay, they're all still winning. But you don't trade into the queen ending. Okay, so what do you do? Queen g3. You've got an extra pawn, I guess, is what's being said. And it's a passed pawn. I mean, I didn't notice that at the time, which is a bit silly. Okay, now then. Queen e2. h6, what I played. Here. Okay, queen d3 is what was played. King h7, and it's evens, which is amazing. And now here, it's mate in 2. Oh my god, I missed a mate. Sorry, but how is it mate in 2? Oh, Yoshimichi. Wow. It's just mating 2. Of course. So you just see this move and play it. I'm picking this up in time trouble, but that's just a mate. Okay, big miss there. And after here, we've only got a small edge. I thought I was lost here because I thought they were going to queen the pawn. And at some point, and the worry is that if they queen this pawn, if you allow this, it doesn't actually threaten a mate, but you're not going to get another move in the game. So it's too slow. But then I realised, oh, but I can actually trade and then make a queen. So I can play F2. But I think our opponent just allowed us here, because it now comes with a check to play F2. And then this was curtains. We make a queen. And I was mating in a few moves. Alright, that was a mad game. We're just going to do one more. Are we going to do one more? Maybe we'll call it a day. I think we're going to call it a day, actually. It's been fun. Let's have a look at the stats. How did we do in today's session? Well, apparently 7 wins, 3 losses, but there's no way that we played 10 games there. Anyway, we're going to go and do some work. I mean, chess work. Right? Think about what's happened. Look at some of those games and those openings. And we'll be back next week on Full Board Vision. Same time, same place, same
Discovered chick.
clippable moments. But until then, I'll bid you a happy evening. A good week thereafter. And thanks once again to our sponsors, Barry's. And we'll be back next week with a different sponsor. And we'll brew up some more chess. But until then,